no need for my silly face on camera as I take you into this series from our group stages here in the WardiTV Spring Championship. In the bottom right-hand side, the red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Takes on the blue Zerg in the top left-hand corner. This is Dark. For game number 1 of a best of 3. We have not seen ShoWTimE yet today. We have seen Dark. Successful over Kellerzer. So we'll see if, which of these guys can set up. Because Dark ShoWTimE is the first match, I'd say, between the big 3 going in today. We obviously expect Kellerzer to maybe be able to cause upsets. That's not happened so far. So Dark ShoWTimE and Hero Marine are kind of the expected players to maybe scrap over top 3. Mana can obviously also cause upsets and can absolutely be part of this conversation, perhaps. But I think most people would expect some combination of Dark ShoWTimE and Hero Marine. So maybe our first of the 3 important matches today between those 3, if a lot of other results go without upsets. Like I say, Dark top left, ShoWTimE bottom right to help us figure this one out. Grezvan, our battlefield here to start out on as well. Spring, it's summer here. Yes, we have this spring championship discussion all the time. This is the championship for the set of events that happened during the spring season of WardiTV. So, yes, it's happening in the season of summer, but we've had an entire 3 months of our spring season play now. This is the culmination of that, so it is officially hence the spring championship. Look, don't blame me. If I said this the other day, if DreamHack didn't happen, we would have done this championship in spring. I can't help all these other tournaments ruining my stream schedule, my tournament schedule, okay? So, yeah. Can't do much about that. Blame ESL or something, guys. Go shout at them. God damn it, DreamHack, I know. Unbelievable. As if they didn't shift DreamHack Summer all the way across. Why is it even called DreamHack Summer then? Okay, here's a question for you. DreamHack Summer happened during spring as well. Huh? There you go. No one shouted about this all weekend when we had DreamHack Summer. Ay. Next week coming up, Stargate coming through, Nexus is building. We do have a Warp Gate coming in from ShoWTimE straight away, and our Adept just continues over into the center here. Trying to see a little bit of what's going on. Hatchery goes down. Stargate is producing on the side of ShoWTimE as well, and obviously we expect the Stargate. ShoWTimE does love to just play Stargate. Multiple oracles. Take just control of the game a lot of the time is generally the approach that we see there, and it's generally not a bad approach to take either. ShoWTimE is very good with those oracles. He's very good at playing a macro game off of those oracles. Definitely expecting that to be a big part of this as we do have our Queen, our Ling Speed, all continuing through. Our Adept is going to grab a Creep Tumor, which is nice. Any kind of creep control is also good, because it keeps those queens back, it keeps those units in certain places. That's generally a pretty big positive. Warp Gate coming up. Obviously, we do see the triple Adept, which is a good combination to kind of usually go aggressive with, and usually when you have Adept numbers like this, you keep on building Adepts, you are going to be taking, at some stage, some kind of a Oracle kind of Adept kind of push out, move out, try and get some damage done. 3 Adepts for the moment already shading out, and our first Oracle is already on the battlefield. Second Oracle is produced, and in fact the first Oracle is across the map right now. The Adepts just came to protect the 3rd location. Is it going to be enough? It seems like it. The base goes down, and there's not really anything to do to truly cancel that, so for the moment, that will be that. The Adepts still coming across. Oracle's still hanging out in the skies, and a couple more probes, the Nexus, all of this still being brought in. Oracle number 2 joins up. Like I say, ShoWTimE, he'll be very happy if he gets to play like a nice macro game here. What I imagine might happen, if not in this game, then maybe the next one ShoWTimE tries to macro a second time, is potentially Dog just gets aggressive, right? Dog loves his Nidus plays, Dog loves his kind of aggressive pushes. He likes to stop the Protoss plays from getting set up, and I think he'll do exactly that against ShoWTimE. I think he knows that ShoWTimE really is respected in that kind of macro game, so he'll kind of play around it if he gets the chance to. Losing 4, 5, 6 drones early, though. I mean, every work you lose right now makes it more and more aggressive to justify aggression. More and more difficult to justify aggression, sorry, not aggressive. Simply because the reason being, now you don't have much economy to work off of. You got to replace that economy. Any aggression is going to be that much weaker. That hit that much later. So this is the sort of damage that ShoWTimE likes to see because it not only slows the Zerg down, it overall probably just makes him feel a little bit safer as well. The Oracle's coming through. The Queen is there to punch the Oracles back just slightly, keep them away for the moment. Mortal Sentry +1, all of that continuing to come on through. A couple Queens going to get here straight away. Just the Oracle's getting pinged back. There's another Oracle that can go and join up as well. And in the end, ShoWTimE never really gets out onto the map, but I guess that's probably, due to the fact that some Lings were already being aggressive. We already had a bit of a trade out without ShoWTimE being needing to move out aggressively. So he just keeps the Oracles on the map, gets some drones as we saw before. The creep is kind of low from Dark anyways. Like, it's not like the creep is kind of like astoundingly far forward or anything of that sort. So yeah, even that kind of initial creep tumor that ShoWTimE killed off is having something of an effect. As Dark not choosing to prioritize that creep until, now he's kind of getting a few more of those creep tumors down and out, especially as Queen count gets a little higher, gathers up together, etc. Dark, as he plays the melee upgrade, is going to opt for the Spire behind it as well. It's going to play some kind of Ling Muta combo. Okay, I'm down for it, right? It makes the game a bit crazier. ShoWTimE, if he's not ready, although he has a Stargate, may not choose to produce from that Stargate straight away, so that could absolutely be part of the problem here as well. As the Lings are going to find an initial Immortal, ShoWTimE would really like to go without losing that one. A Force Field to help it stay out of trouble, but it still lost more than just shields and its barrier for a while. It lost some HP as well, so that is one Immortal that's just not quite as scary as it usually would be now, simply for the fact he got surrounded by a few Lings. ShoWTimE pushing though, and what a time to push just before Dark hits the Spire tech. Dark's army supply is honestly right now not very good at all. He was waiting for the Spire to finish. He's still going to decide to make 11 mutas. The timer is on for ShoWTimE. How much damage can he do before these mutas come out and make a significant difference? By warping in Zealots, he's clearly not fully aware of the fact that the mutas are on the way, but maybe you've got to start asking that question, because very shortly you're going to have mutas up in your face, and you've got to wonder, well, why the hell isn't he building anything else? What isn't he showing me, basically? Why aren't I seeing an army when I'm here with so much? The mutas, ShoWTimE's going to try and fight the Prism. He'll go for one more Stalker Warp, and I think he gets that Stalker Warp, and as the extra mutas show up, a little bit too late to help the Prism go down any sooner. Now, Dark's army is just absolutely melting. ShoWTimE's force is moving through without issue, like a knife through hot butter. He is going to absolutely carve his way into this third base, finish that off, and I did genuinely think that ShoWTimE may have had some trouble when the mutas showed up, but the extra Stalkers getting the warp in and so on is going to mean that this is enough for him. And plain and simple for ShoWTimE to take game 1 against Dark. ShoWTimE beat Dark in our tournament last time ShoWTimE and Dark played each other in a WardiTV event as well. In the top right-hand corner, we're going to start off with our blue Zerg player. This is going to be Dark. But against the red Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner, it is ShoWTimE. Game number 2, and ShoWTimE leads by a map for the moment. ShoWTimE will destroy Hero Marine. That's some strong words. Playing Hero Marine is usually pretty fun, right? Pretty back and forth. I'm down to see what those two bring. Very fun group. ShoWTimE, Hero Marine, Dark, very competitive with one another, and yeah, definitely a chance to see some fun results today, even if maybe, like I say, Mana's not played anything yet. We've only seen half of Calazur's games, but even if, I guess that sort of point where it's like, looking as though it's the top three guys really is no guarantee which order Dark, ShoWTimE and Hero Marine come out in, so yeah, plenty of fun matches today. Plenty of fun stuff to be seen. So we have a hatch, gas, and pool continuing up. Nothing too crazy about the probe scouting, nibbling, and just buying a little bit of time here, so nothing too surprising about that at all. Let's just see our Nexus and our Cybercore continuing through. Do you expect ShoWTimE to open a Stargate a second time around here? Would be very surprised to see anything other than that. He really is a fan of Stargate. We saw him use it well in the first game, especially just because the first game didn't really go wrong anywhere, so it just doesn't feel like there's a need for him to kind of switch it up and be like, oh man, he really stopped my Stargate play. He loves the Oracles. He loves Triple Oracle. I really expect him to just play that again. And a map like Ancient as well. A lot of the time, Ancient's a pretty quick veto from Zergs. Dark, his vetoes don't usually line up with a lot of the top Zergs. Ancient just seems like a very good map for Protoss to take a good amount of bases on, get set up. Typically, it's one that, unless I'm being really dumb and it's the other way around, but usually it is a fast veto in this matchup, so I'm intrigued to see what that means as we get this set on up. So yeah, about finished. Link speed's halfway done. I'm just going to be seeing our... Yes, taking a few moments here. As we coming through, just going to be seeing our Oracle on the way up, the Warp Gate coming through. Again, just some pretty regular bits and pieces. I mean, until the Oracles come out and these Adepts move across, this is when we're really going to start getting a bit excited about this ZvP. I think it's fair to say that early game here we do kind of take a little chill for this matchup. That is currently what is going on. Queen's get here, Oracle already getting pushed up in toward the main base. Warp Gate still coming through, is just about to finish up. And that Warp Gate complete as the Oracle dives in for 2, 3 drones already. Coming back around the side. With 3 workers killed, the Oracle does get pushed across. Three drones going down. Last starts from Dark. No melee upgrade early this time. It's just a very fast lair. Almost feels like if we don't see anything else, maybe some kind of a Nidus play, some kind of, heavy aggression from him. But ShoWTimE sees the lair coming up. He does take extra extractors. And he's going to drop the Rotoron down too. So it doesn't actually seem to be too weird in the end. It's just the lair was on its way and there was just nothing else really going on, right? Depth's just going to come through. Potentially jump onto this mineral line, but will not commit. Queen is there. Oracle gets pushed back. Pretty easy shut down. Still going to be seeing a couple Oracles sat overhead. Another Revelation. A couple drones still getting tagged. We're going to be seeing our drones and our extractors all coming up. Our +1 missiles coming through as well. The Oracles are still moving around the top side of the map. Three drones just immediately get picked off, and we do have, again, the Immortal, the +1 attack. All of this continues through. The Oracle comes in, drops a little Revelation down. We're just going to get tagged there. The Revelation, just going to see a couple Queens coming through. Oracle getting chased away. The Phoenix hallucinated coming through as well. That's going to get shut down as well. +1 missiles will continue over, along with some Roaches, some Overlords as well. Continue to produce. Oracle comes in, just going to knock down that drone. Still going to be seeing that Queen coming across. Another Creep Tumor going down. Robo Bay, Twilight Council continues into play as well. And we do see that Immortal still producing here. As we continue all of this out, Oracle's gathering up, Oversteer getting touched. A few Stalkers as it wants to scout on through, but yeah, ShoWTimE just Twilight Robo, very happy to play along a game off the back of this triple Oracle. Is gonna see one Oracle going down, two Oracles going down. That's a really unfortunate moment, just an unnecessary loss. Absolutely unnecessary. Two Oracles just dead, flying towards the Queens, a little bit too close to the sun, and yeah, that unfortunately is going to be quite expensive in the end. Rip. That is a real shame. Just so avoidable. It's so nice to have triple Oracle still on the map, right? Like, these things are just so valuable, and you lose out on them instantly. Dog is going to show us Swarm Host here for this game, and well, now you think about the triple Oracle, yeah, it would be nice to have these triple Oracles. Could maybe laser down a Swarm Host, maybe shoot down a Nidus, maybe even just keep track of where the Niduses are coming up way more easily because you have way more ways to do that. That really is quite sad as our Swarm Host will gather at the front and just going to go jump on into our Nidus network. We're going to be seeing Dark with a couple of units on the other side, starting to some of this initial pressure in. First Nidus comes up on the far left-hand side. And we'll see if those Swarm Host Locusts going into the natural can be deadly or not. Not the natural, sorry, the third base. Fourth base is going to end up cancelled from ShoWTimE too, so Dark with potential really slows down. Oh, the stasis catches the entire first round of Locusts. That is massive. Shutting down those Locusts like that super quickly, super easily. That goes such a long way for you. That is a big, big deal. Now the first wave of the Locusts is being dealt with without any damage being taken. You got to feel great about that. Really puts you in a nice position. There's a couple of battles here, just going to keep a couple of units pinned back. It's a nice disruptor shot as well. Catches at least a Ravager in amongst everything else. You're not going to be seeing the Swarm Host Locusts are setting up to come flying at us once again here. Into the base we go, as we have some DTs to try and help out with football force fields, and we are going to keep it alive. Super Battery would love to actually start targeting that Nexus and just start bringing it up to HP. That Super Battery is being wasted. It's not healing anything. The Nexus is going to be back to higher shields and just much safer for the future, so missed opportunity from ShoWTimE. Obviously, healing it with a normal battery means you're kind of taking away the energy that you have accessible to you, so Super Battery is already activated here. May as well get that Nexus healed up. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame as ShoWTimE sets up over here, looking to still utilize the disruptors in his favor. Going to fire one shot now, a couple of roaches going down. This shot's going to get a couple of roaches too. Moving forward though, now the roaches aren't scared. They're going to jump on top of the disruptors. Nothing to save these guys, and well, just a little bit too much Zerg in general. ShoWTimE is starting to be overwhelmed in this direction. Getting the Locusts out and pushing back. Another disruptor going down. We really just ran out of disruptor shots to zone these units away. Losing so many of these disruptors obviously aids in that kind of factor, and that is going to be painful for ShoWTimE as Dark puts himself in a strong spot here in this game number 2. Not done yet though, but I love what he's doing. He realizes, hey, I'm already doing pretty well for myself, so he's immediately going to go to the transition point, which is the Lurkers. He's not going to stay too long on just the Swarm Host Roach Ravager pushes. He is looking to the future. He is looking in other ways he can get set up, other ways in which he can do things. Swarm Host all popping out, heading down this bottom side. He's going to set up a round of Locusts. They're going to head towards this main portion of the army. Can we hold off against this? Super Battery activates. There's a lot of roaches. This is where the disruptors absolutely need to come through. They get 4 in the first shot. There's going to be ones coming into zone on the top side, and for the moment it is going to be ShoWTimE holding on. A few drones going down on the other side of the map as well, so okay, a better moment from ShoWTimE, a bit more of a hopeful moment for ShoWTimE. Going down the south, a couple of battles coming up. The Nexus is going to get cancelled. Just going to still see Zealot, Stalkers, Archons pushing on forward. Nexus will come down once again. We'll see again. Against Swarm Host, it's a slow game, right? You don't want to rush into anything. There's a lot of moments where actually just sitting back and waiting. Even if it doesn't feel good, it's not so bad because your opponent is so heavily invested on the Swarm Host in particular. Focus coming through. Stasis Ward is going to pop. And you'll see this Nexus going down over on the edges. So it gets picked off pretty swiftly there, and Stalkers, Archons, a couple of Disruptors are still coming through to again try see just what can be done. Big push from ShoWTimE, but I think he's going to get overrun a little bit. He obviously felt as though he needed to do something. Yeah, maybe he was held off that base for a little too long, but yeah, this obviously wasn't going to work out. And Dark takes it to 1-1 versus ShoWTimE here. Welcome back. As in the bottom right-hand corner, our red Zerg player is Dark, tying the series up 1-1. Taking on our blue Protoss on top left, ShoWTimE, here for game 3 of the match. See what we can get up to during this. As, yeah, Dark really looking pretty okay in that kind of longer game. With the swallows and everything. ShoWTimE just feeling the need to push at the end. Didn't work out for him. See what happens. Like I say, game 3 of this right now. See what kind of style we see from each of them on a shorter map in Dragon Scales. I'm expecting to probably see a Stargate even on a shorter map. Could maybe see Glaze or, you know, some kind of Twilight play in general in here, but you know, ShoWTimE loves the Oracle so much it wouldn't put it past him just being an Oracle base play. Maybe a more aggressive push like what we saw in game 1 with the size of the map, but Oracles to start just seems like something of a given right now. Balance sets up, next is coming through. Let's get a couple little bits and pieces up and rolling here as our probe continues out up through the center of the map. Bowling is just coming through, just going to go and try and grab on top of this. Stargate is coming up. Again, for the moment, so far so good. Double Queens, the drone to the link speed, and our Adept is going to go and pull on back for the moment. We have a runaway chat. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read chat. What's going on? We're fighting? What are we fighting about? One time I don't read chat and get distracted, everyone's like, Wardy, chat's gone wild. Ling's coming up, Ling speed on the way. That's going to be seeing our Queen putting some damage onto a couple of these Adepts. The rest of the Ling's coming through. That's going to be seeing the Adept shading up in towards this high ground where a few drones will begin to drop. Wow, really nice damage. 5 workers going down. What a start from ShoWTimE. He's going to be absolutely loving that. That's absolutely brilliant. That sets you off into such a good place. He's going to absolutely love that setup. So, great start here on the side of ShoWTimE. Gonna slow down Dark in a big way here, and what could be a very important match in this Group B of the Spring Championship. This could be one that decides kind of how the layout of the top 3 of this group turns out to be. ShoWTimE protects his own third base location very nicely. Lings will not do too much over here to cause trouble. Nothing ShoWTimE can't deal with. Let's drop that third base into position, and we have ourselves, yeah, the third next coming down, the gateway setting up. A little extra gates still setting up as well, just going to be seeing our Cybercore sitting tight at the front also as our Oracle continues in. Our first Oracle will not do much, turned around by the first Queen. 7 more drones on the way, a couple of Overlords are producing. Forge is on the way out as well as an additional gate as well, so just still seeing all these little bits and pieces being invested into here, being brought up, being brought into action. There are the Oracles and the Adept combined, so obviously you already dealt some damage here earlier. ShoWTimE has the potential for more damage in the not so distant future. Those Oracles all come diving around the bottom side, a few of those drones going down. 4 workers, 5 workers, 6 workers dropping, make it 7. Again, just lots of damage early. Now, we do lose 1 Oracle, but we've killed 12 workers this game, so I feel like we're probably pretty okay with the amount of damage we've been able to get done here. So probe still coming now, just going to be seeing a +1 attack upgrade coming through as well. Portal on the way up also. Maybe a potential for ShoWTimE to push like he did in the previous, in that game number 1, push and kind of hit a good timing against a Zerg that isn't ready. Of course, in the first game, Doc was trying to prep up into Mutalisks. This time around, he should be a little bit kind of clear of that, at the very least. That is a helping hand, and that should mean that he shouldn't have as many issues, but obviously the damage early still adds up, and the damage early is still something to be considered when you think about whether or not you're going to be able to deal with some of the incoming attacks. In the Robo-Bay from ShoWTimE. So it looks like he won't be too committed on a single push. As we do have the Oracles back again. 3. Just make it 4 workers. Okay, we're later in the game now, so it's a little bit less meaningful, but still adding up. We go for 1 more, but it costs us the Oracle, unfortunately. And again, ShoWTimE just losing out on those. Gonna be feeling a little bit sad about that, I'd imagine. Stalkers, the Mortals, and the Sentries continue out down to the south, so we'll come straight across here. So ShoWTimE is going to push. It's not as aggressive as the first game, because I guess he's got the follow-up to this, but actually still has an army supply lead and +1 attack done, so there is still some kind of threat to this compared to, you know, maybe what you would expect given the situation. I'm not going to go... I mean, it forces, if nothing else, it forces Doc to treat it seriously, right? So then Doc is building units, Doc is preparing, and all of this and that, so you kind of force Doc to react to the fact that this could be the commitment. And even that is good for you, because that could stop Doc from getting to a higher drone count as quickly, for example. So there's definitely some value to it. Time backs all the way up. Got that Dark Shrine coming through. It's about to finish. Extra gates coming online. Disruptors coming through. Right, does ShoWTimE go back? Because ShoWTimE doesn't feel like his attack's meant to work because he's investing into other tech. So he could attack, but like he'd be a bit of a blind attack, and he's just not committed on that. He's already done a lot by kind of forcing Doc to make units in response to the move out. And he's very happy then just to see the later game instead of potentially losing the army there because he's not quite 100% sure. And then if you lose that army, then, you know, your tech doesn't ever get online. It just becomes such a messy situation instead. That is generally why you back off there. I think Roach Ravage is still moving across the sides and just trying to see where we're gonna take things to be in the next few moments as our army of ShoWTimE comes towards the front. Yo, Peanut Butter Jesus, thank you so much for the 3-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for subscribing to the channel today. Sorry, just blew into the microphone accidentally while trying to blow on myself to cool down. There's a couple of Zealots on the right-hand side are going to get caught, so they're going to get cleaned up pretty much instantly. Just going to see the rest of this Bane. Roach Ravage is still moving over, and well, it is going to be Doc's turn to get aggressive. He's maxed out. He wants to try and fight and take some trades before ShoWTimE is able to max out further, or close to maxing. ShoWTimE initial Stasis War doesn't do much. All these probes are dead, unfortunately. Now, where the rest of these Banelings going to go? They're going to try and get out towards the army. Disrupt a shot, flange short. So that's already 14 workers going down, and yeah, pretty successful start from Doc, although it was still a lot of army that, yeah, you know, it cost him a lot of army still. ShoWTimE will be building workers for the time to reset, and more Archons. I would say the big issue for Doc is this was a trade that very much so hit the economy, but nothing else. And the army that ShoWTimE's playing is really very tech-heavy. You're kind of in need of kind of resetting the tech a few times over in this game as Doc if you want to be okay. Like, usually that attack, if it had, for example, come through and it had been like, boom, I hit you for, like, you know, that amount of workers, and I get a couple of Archon kills and so on, then brilliant, or a couple of the Disruptors. That's just obviously not the case here. That's not how this is working out, and yeah, that actually becomes a bit of an issue, because then fights like this are still very good for ShoWTimE. He is not going to be put into trouble. Like, the position is just so recoverable for him, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say, and it's definitely somewhat the case right now, is he deals with this next wave of Dark very easily, and the problem is Dark is now just building more and more of the same units in less and less numbers compared to the Protoss force, and ShoWTimE just feels better, or should feel better and better about this as we continue through. Wasn't worth it to focus the next with those Banelings. I think it's just a little bit scary for what I'm already saying in the fact that Dark is maybe needing to trade out for some amount of army while also doing eco damage, so he wanted the Banelings to try and help with that. They weren't super great in the end, so maybe it would have been better just to go onto the Nexus, but that would be my kind of thinking in this case. It might have been a good decision to go onto the Nexus, like I said, because he didn't really feel like he did much with the Banes, but yeah. If you kill the Nexus especially, then probably could have said that was absolutely going to be decent. Dogs will end up going a couple different directions. Banes from the right-hand side. Stalkers warp in, because the moment these Banelings make it through is the moment those probes are absolutely just stuck here. But this is actually going to work out fine. You lose a little bit of stack defense, a couple of your pylons, but this was otherwise okay. We lose 8 probes overall. I think that's very affordable. Again, just good defense from ShoWTimE, using those Stalker warp-ins to block and deny. Things is going to continue through. Ravages, Roaches, and Lings continue out. ShoWTimE is going to start pushing. I mean, he's closing in on maxing out. Like I say, the army of Dark is hardly improved. Next few Banes going to need to be set up here. Disruptor shot. Maybe missed an opportunity there. Kind of went towards the army, then realized it wasn't going to reach. Tried to pull back to the Banes too late. The rest of these Archons just need to join the fray, and these Lings will not have any sort of opportunity. Hatchery goes down. 10 drones already dropping. I mean, good start from ShoWTimE. I don't think he's necessarily done yet. I don't think there's a need for him to back away. I think his army's good. Maybe he's just going to be careful and get some extra warp-ins before he continues through, though. Going to see the Archon star, and he does have Blink on the way, and he does have a few Stalkers in the army. I guess, okay, maybe he doesn't, like, back away and just go home, but, like, back away and go into, like, a different direction and kind of keep on, taking out the forward bases, the bases that, have the most minerals on them. That's not a bad focus, and obviously is kind of going to keep you towards the edge of creep as well, which is generally nice. Not enough Banelings here, so the Zealots are actually going to do pretty well for themselves coming into this fight later on. ShoWTimE this time in the end does back away a little bit again, doesn't get the base just yet. Just going to give a little bit of space on the map as he resets his Disruptors a little bit. A few more Stalkers, again, they are getting blinks, they are going to be more valuable in the very near future, in fact. Blink still just coming through, the Disruptor on the way as well, and just seeing that +3 attack upgrade also coming in from ShoWTimE. Ready to launch something of an attack down this right side. One more Archon just getting morphed, and entire force coming through the center of the map here, heading down to the bottom. Oh, yeah, I mean, again, there's just no tech in this Zerg army, man. Like, as much as you want to believe in Dark or whatever, like, there's just no tech in his army at all. And that's why I was kind of talking about earlier, you need to start resetting these tech unit counters while you're killing off economy. The moment that didn't happen the first time, it immediately felt troublesome for Dark, and it doesn't feel like he's really had a chance in any of the fights since then, and it really is just, that's how this matchup works. If you're playing this low-tech force of the Zerg, you need to keep the tech units of the Protoss to a manageable amount, and that's just not happened at all. This hasn't happened at all. We do lose the Prism there, so warp-ins are going to be lost into the fight, but we've traded out pretty well already, and even if ShoWTimE just has to try and make a bit of a runaway now, I think he's still okay. He's got Stalkers that can blink. He is, he has lost every single Archon, so Dark gets a lot of the tech units cleaned up this time around. ShoWTimE might just want to stop and fight a little bit. An extra Archon, some extra units in general, trying to turn around here. The Oracle even helping out. The Oracle target fires the low HP Ravages. He will get a few of them. And he does exactly that, so actually the Oracle, a hero at the very end, gets a bunch of additional kills. Good guy, Oracle. He's helping the Protoss out that little bit at the tail end of this. Alright, well, as War Roach Ravager continues to morph in, it's still just the same stuff from Doc. Yes, he's gotten into +3 adrenal glands, +2 missiles. Like, he's gotten better upgrades. That part, okay, sure, I can admit to, but again, the upgrades don't necessarily mean that much if there's just that much tech in the Protoss Force. That's still the issue that he's going to be facing. And of course, beforehand, we were talking about Doc maxed out with this kind of an army against a 150 supply ShoWTimE. Now it's 160 versus 150 supply, so a much closer situation there as well. Resources lost a 4,000 favor of ShoWTimE. And of course his income has been good throughout this game, even leading in the income tab recently as well. So again, just going to, piecing together the puzzle that is this game of StarCraft. We'll say Doc's got very good creep spread. Obviously it's a short map, so it's not too difficult to get it everywhere, but the fact it is everywhere should make life a little bit more difficult for ShoWTimE pushing forward now. That's exactly the kind of thing that ShoWTimE could really do with just a little bit of a... like the Doc could do with a little bit of a pick-me-up that kind of keeps ShoWTimE on edge, rather than ShoWTimE kind of really coming forward again to kind of take down this base and that base and just choosing wherever he wants to go. The creep helps you out a whole bunch in that regard, at least, and he is splitting well against these run-bys, not letting ShoWTimE take advantage there either. Doc doing a lot of things right. Let's see, as he does get maxed out, these Ravagers, I thought we were going to get the Disruptors. Disruptors do get to sneak out to the right side to the main army. And ShoWTimE looks as though he wants to maybe focus on this push into the 3 o'clock base. Professor Bar's going to miss that Oracle, which does drop the Revelation down. Doc going to replace this hatchery. Actually has +3 missiles on this very hurt Evo chamber. Looks as though he's going to get away with that, though. It's Roach Ravager Force still just moving a little bit. We're going to see Overlord speed coming up as well. Don't think that's necessarily going to be for drops or anything, but don't put it past Doc. He gets an upgrade for one thing. He will use it in any way that he can. I just wonder if he needs something like that to kind of like pull ShoWTimE apart, because right now it feels like ShoWTime's pretty good. Wow, that Disruptor actually died, but it got blown up by Banelings, which is probably just as fine as it actually killing the Banelings it was about to kill. Obviously, it would be nice if it blew up and then he soaked the Banelings on one Disruptor as well, but can't always win everything. And bottom left base of Dark is taking some serious damage. It's going to fall. Archon Zealot Stalker combo. Now the main base under fire too. Zealot DT going to go swipe down this Hive, take away some of the possible future tech trees. Obviously, if you ever wanted to build Vipers, now that's going to have to be a Hive that's rebuilt, right? So just those things kind of taking their toll as the base goes down just before the Ravagers get the cleanup. So unfortunately, it ain't going to be good enough. 19 minutes deep in ShoWTimE is backing away again. Not currently feeling the need to really again bring the issue to his opponent just yet. Just happy to kind of let this pan out and let Doc maybe make the plays, let him be the aggressor, let him kind of decide what exactly is going to be going down. Full bars, but nothing connecting. And ShoWTimE is maxed as well. Well, Doc's been able to build up a bit of a bank here in this, so rebuilding might be on the cards for him, but it's not a huge bank. 2k, 1k it's something, but it's not going to kind of rebuild everything if you lose that big time. ShoWTimE going to get hit by a counterattack. Doc obviously knowing that a straight up kind of, one-on-one fight is not exactly going to be in, massively in his favor. Stuff like run-by is going to pull ShoWTimE back, pull ShoWTimE apart, even just get some damage done in themselves. These are all things that could help out massively, right? In a game where otherwise you're kind of feeling like you're in some trouble, these Banes, that's a beautiful Disruptor shot for the cleanup. That's good enough. Yep, and this Stalker's now blinking in as well to protect. And these Banelings do go down. But again, this is all ShoWTimE running around and playing the defense. And that's kind of what Doc wants, right? Because now ShoWTimE is not being able to take one of those larger straight-up army fights that he was getting to, take earlier on. So yeah, Doc with some great movement to make this difficult for ShoWTimE. You've got to respect all these attacks, because if you don't respect them, they're going to find too many probes. They're going to find a base. And if you start losing those things at ShoWTimE, that's where you have a lot of difficulty kind of stabilizing and kind of getting set back up once your static defense is in place somewhere, for example. It's always a little bit of a trial to get back online, back set up once more. More Banes going down. We are going to see these disruptor shots playing through, but don't think they find anything. Some roaches up the left. ShoWTimE's going to pull the trigger. So Dark still focused on a lot of those counterattacks. ShoWTimE, they at least move on to the edge of creep here. The first Banelings are looking to come through. Okay, mostly aiming in towards the few Stalkers and the gateway units there. I guess if you're aiming for some amount of damage with Banes, that was probably kind of it, right? It's not a bad example of just getting rid of, the units that would die to them, so the few gateway units and so on. And counterattack on the right-hand side. This base looks as though it's going to fall. The probes just straight up pull away from it. ShoWTimE clearly knows that this base is not long for this game of StarCraft. Slowly working through the creep spread around that left-hand side as well. He's going to get the bottom left base. I think that one's a given. Can he get another base here? If he can get this bottom base too, I think we're really starting to run into, production issues for Dark. Or income issues for Dark. Either or. I mean, obviously each hatch that goes down is also lava that he will no longer have access to. Both players sit about 173 to 163. Money in the bank to spend, but neither player spending it. Probably trying to still assess what their opponent is doing so they end up in a position where they can play against what their opponent is doing. Even if that is just a confirmation of, oh yeah, you're kind of doing the same thing still. Just trying to make sure there's not some kind of weird switch up or anything that's going on, as ShoWTimE has carved a path deep into the Zerg territory. Pushing up this ramp, going towards this hatchery. More Disruptor, but the Ravager Roach is going to have to back away. Well, ShoWTimE killed off a lot of bases in these last few moments. That's, these are all massive benefits to him. A few drones just pull up to the high ground. Going to move over the right-hand side. We have Stasis Ward expiring now as well. Dark is up about 30 supply here as ShoWTimE's coming across with the Archons once more. They've both built their bank. And with their bank having been spent, this really comes down to now some of these bases that have been denied and the mining that's not been allowed. These things become more and more important than ever before. Dark having to rebuild the lair, which has gone down during all of this too, so he's having to build that before he can reset some of his own tech beyond this. And Pathfinder Glands, as he's been playing off of Pure Roach Ravager for such a long time, ShoWTimE begins to take this fight in, eating a few corrosive bars as he goes. The Disruptor shot is just too far away at a too late of a time. A little bit closer and a little bit sooner, she would have had some potential. That was just too little and too late. The Disruptor shot here is ShoWTimE is using the Prism to kind of flank with the Disruptors a little bit. The problem right now is these Archons are just very bulky and just very awkward to fight with. If he spreads them out into the Concave and they can trade, brilliant. But they can't kite this Roach Ravager, so the moment this Roach Ravager starts kiting, the Archons just take blasts for free. That's where the Disruptors are important to try and force this Roach Ravager not to just kind of focus fully on the Archons. I'm trying to find something with that as, oh, we forced a split. A couple of Ravagers going down, ShoWTimE finding something. His bases are heavily mined out, guys. It's 24 minutes in game, so ShoWTimE really doesn't have, like, a lot of money left over at this point. Disruptor and a couple more bits and pieces coming through. Touch chat swears Dark should be dead. I'm with you guys. I don't think Dark should be looking so hot right now at all. It's not that kind of a game. But, it really comes down to whether these Archons can stay alive. The Prism, by the way, just about hanging on in there. Maiden, be careful with that. Don't eat a bile. Don't eat any Queen shots. Very important as we continue to move around here. Sorry guys, door went and I wasn't sure if Helen was out. So, a few probes going down. Apparently this Roach Ravager chasing up. Sorry for an awkward time to step away. As we do have a counterattack down the right side from ShoWTimE as well. So he's going to come straight in with this. So he's going to keep on pushing too. Couple Archons moving around reasonably. Just getting chased around. Roach Ravager doing what we can as well. Archons come in. This hatchery going to get grabbed, and a couple more of these stasis wards continuing in, just catching a few of these banelings. So even Bane's getting caught now, trying to stop this economy from taking hits. 40 drones, 40 probes apiece. 5 more stalkers. Swarming pool is being rebuilt. Roaches find this side. ShoWTimE mining off that far left base is critical for him. Without that, he really would be just so in the gutter in terms of economy. So that is actually extremely important for him as we grab one more baneling there towards the end. One pool still coming up and everything, and just seeing how Roach Ravager moving over, still over this left side. Just again, just trying to find a fight. Both players looking to try and engage into each other here at any point in time. Nexus goes down in the front, and it's going to be seeing the rest of this army coming through. Just going to have a little bit of an Overlord pickoff. Do we think that ShoWTimE's army is good enough? The problem is ShoWTimE's army tech-wise is great. Size-wise is maybe the issue right now, especially as Dog tries to force these fights where not everything's collected together. Oh, he targeted the Disruptor. That's such a shame, because that was going to be a good Disruptor shot as well. So ShoWTimE was kind of relying on that too to deal with what is a chunkier amount of roaches here, and he's going to lose any access he has to that right side. That was a great little move from Dog. Just the confidence to stand there as well, knowing that he was going to be able to get it. Obviously goes a long way too in that scenario. Things roaches just continuing through, and it's going to be now prismless ShoWTimE. Something else you didn't really want to have to rebuild because you're not exactly rich at this stage of the game, so you're without a prism. That's some micro potential going down. That is another issue just on board here for our Protoss player. A couple more Banes, a few more Zerglings, all continuing out. As I think, honestly, Dog's going to drive ShoWTimE out of this game eventually, just with the money issue, right? As this Oracle is going to straight up activate and say, cool, I'll take a Ravager or two if you're going to give it to me. Does Dog really want to commit in here? Some Rock's going to get knocked down. We do have a hatchery still coming up from Dog, so he's still trying to rebuild some of his bases as well. His Oracle's honestly putting a lot of damage out. Income recently has been pretty level. Resources lost in ShoWTimE's favor. I mean, I still feel like ShoWTimE, in theory, should have an army enough to fight this. It's just both of them kind of committing to a fight that allows that to happen is not exactly a guarantee. It ain't a given. A few more biles coming down. We do have our roaches and lings up on the top side. We're not just going to be seeing this super battery still active, still trying to see just what exactly it can get up to. Just bring any sort of healing to the table. ShoWTimE going on a bit of a split, maybe trying to get us around on this force of Dog. He's going to get it as he initiates with the Disruptor shots. Then nearly hit his own Zealot. He pulls back last second. This will allow him to cancel this base, which in itself is a big deal because now that's one less base you have to mine from that Dog was about to gain access to. A few more Corrosive Bowels. Ling Roach Ravager pushing away for just a second. ShoWTimE. I mean, it's obviously terrifying for Dog. He doesn't want to take a straight-up fight because I think he does lose in a straight-up fight. That's why he's been causing chaos. He's been making it so difficult for ShoWTimE to find that kind of a fight, right? And even right now, as ShoWTimE moves forward, it looks as though Dog's going to pincer around. And is he going to surround this, or is he actually going to try, do a counterattack? Looks like he's just going to try and surround it. The Disruptor's going to get a good start on the Ravagers on the right side. Ravagers split beautifully on the bottom right, however, and ShoWTimE still got to be careful here. Both players' supply is dipping quite heavily. Dog has no money left over. This game is going to come to a close soon as we have Zealots counterattacking, drones going down. I think ShoWTimE is finally getting the edge of this, is finally able to take what felt like such a great game for him and put it into truly game-winning position. I think he's got this now. As still got to be careful of the bars, but the army supplies are evening now. Dog is clearly having issues mining. This one mining base he just can't get up. He was obviously having to force his drones to burrow on the other side at the same time too. That wasn't pretty either. ShoWTimE just wants to be careful, doesn't want to rush up into those corrosive biles. He knows that they can be dangerous. He knows that they can maybe give the edge to his opponent. Yeah, we're being careful using the Stalkers and Disruptors here at the moment, as we did send a lot of other units back, right? Yeah, a little Archon squad going to go around the right side because Dog doesn't really have a way to deal with an Archon squad at the moment. Can't really deal with that. Revelation, so we can hit the drones from the low ground. Every drone we lose right now is maybe not immediately an issue for Dog because he doesn't have enough bases to mine with them all, but eventually you lose enough drones and then that's an issue too. You don't want to be replacing workers at this point, and Doc is going to end up just tapping out GG's. ShoWTimE is going to win here on Dragon Scales.